We need to talk about Die My Love, and that, my friends, is a Lynne Ramsay dad joke. Die My Love is the fifth feature film by writer-director Lynne Ramsay. For those unfamiliar with her work, she made such films as Ratcatcher, Marvin Callar, We Need to Talk About Kevin, which I think is her best-known film, and starred Tilda Swinton in an amazing performance. You Were Never Really Here with Joaquin Phoenix, which I did not love. I found it a little overbearing, which was by design. And now her new film, Die My Love, which stars Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson with support from a fantastic Sissy Spacek and Nick Nolte, who is just really in a couple of scenes. But it's kind of interesting to see Nick Nolte and Sissy Spacek back together on screen again after quite a long period of time. So, your enjoyment of Lynne Ramsay films depends on how much experimental filmmaking you like in your viewing, or how harsh a presentation you can bear. She doesn't make easy films. They're tough things to take, and they can be really brutal. And Die My Love is no exception. Jennifer Lawrence stars as Grace, who has a partner in Jackson, played by Robert Pattinson. And at the outset, we see them moving into a rural house that belonged to Robert Pattinson's uncle, who had passed away under violent circumstances. And they are a young couple. They moved from a more urban environment to what I think is Montana. And we see in this one long uninterrupted take at the beginning them coming into this very messy house. It's just it's dirty, it's got rats in it, it's quite unpleasant. It's what they call a fixer-upper. And Jennifer Lawrence's character Grace says, we need a cat to eat the mice, basically. And then they proceed to have sex on the floor of this place. And from this we learn that they are a couple that might not always agree, but they have intense chemistry. And these two actors do have great chemistry in this film. They are messy and interesting, and they fight. They eventually have a child, and the bulk of this film is dealing with Grace's postpartum depression, her sexual longings, her desire to have sex. She's a very carnal character, in ways that I haven't seen before. She crawls around like a cat all the time, stalking Robert Pattinson or stalking her own feelings, her developing feelings. For most of it, she's really going through some intense depression, and she's pretty shut down. We do see the film through her eyes, and she's quite an unreliable narrator. There's so much that happens in the film that we're not sure is really happening or is in her head, including lusting after another character, played by Lakeith Stanfield. It's her sort of quiet disposition through the film that can get a little repetitive, but she then explodes every so often in scenes of intense violence or rage. And those are the parts of the film that I really responded to, is like these explosive moments. The rest was trying to lull you into a false sense of insecurity, I would say. With Lynne Ramsay, there's never a sense of security. And it just kind of went around in circles quite a bit for me. But I love the explosive moments, and I thought that our two lead actors did a great job. Sissy Spacek, who plays Robert Pattinson's mother, grounds the film in such a way that she brings it all back down to earth, and she kind of talks real talk to these characters, which is much needed in a film that deals a lot with Fantasyland, what's inside Grace's head. And I was reminded of the late, great John Cassavetes, A Woman Under the Influence, starring Gena Rowlands. Incredible film. Cassavetes basically invented independent cinema, and a lot of it was handheld, no budget, just shooting cinema verite style, and it worked because you really believed the characters and the circumstances, because there was no fuss about his style. The problem I have with this film is that while reminiscent heavily of A Woman Under the Influence, you're watching your main character unravel and try to put herself back together. The style of this film, and Lynne Ramsay is a cinematic stylist. She does not go for simple coverage. She is fanciful and really intriguing as a visual artist. However, I think it works against the story that's being told here. Had she gone with a more Cassavetes approach, I would have believed the actors more. What happens here is a lot of it comes across as like improv exercises, where these are two actors thrown together and they're like, okay, fight and then make up and let's see what happens. And repeat that 10 more times. And, you know, as talented as these actors are, the style of the film undercuts their performances, in my opinion. And it makes for just this distant, heavily stylized, shocking film that I didn't really feel a lot for these characters. And, you know, Jennifer Lawrence is a great actor, and she does have amazing moments in this film, but the overall arc of the film didn't grab me like I had hoped it would. I don't really have a lot to say about it because I don't want to spoil any of the story that happens here, except you're watching this woman go through it over the course of this film and come out the other side in a way that is a little unexpected. There's a really annoying dog in the film, and the soundtrack of this film, the sound design of this film is a lot of insects chirping and this dog yapping incessantly, so that you do feel like you're in the mind of Grace. That somebody who's got a new baby, a dog that won't shut up, bugs everywhere, you'd go a little crazy too. And so that was very effective, but I would have preferred a much more indie style to serve these characters better. I'd be curious to hear what you think if you saw this film. I don't think this is going to be a big blockbuster, but for those of you who do go see it, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until then, well, I mean, I guess I hated this one too. I hated it. I hated loving it. I don't know what it is, but it did not entirely work for me. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, later.